Hi everyone. In the last class, we have started the concept of Flexbox, which is meant for to design a flexible layout where user will very convenient to use that website. Yeah, it contains two kind of keywords we have seen. One is flex container, another one is flex items. So flex site container contains the some element, those elements we are calling it as flex items. And in the previous class we have seen what do we mean by flex container, how we are going to make the flex container, and what are the various kind of properties supported by this flex container. All those we have seen in the previous class. So to make a conversion of normal container to flex container by simply using a display equal to flex property. So for this we have various kind of properties are there, like align items, flex flow, justify content, align content, flex wrap, flex direction, flex flow. Like this we have seen all the various kind of properties. Yeah, fine. Meaning that flex container contains flex container contains various kind of items. We call them as flex items, or we call it as child items. Child items. And for all these, we are going to apply some kind of properties. We're going to apply some kind of properties like align content, flex flow, etc. We are going to apply various kind of properties. So what these properties are going to do? These properties are going to change the behavior of all the child elements or all the items which are present in the container. Which are present in the container. Okay, fine. Now we'll see one more technical term, flex items. So I hope you understood already. Flex item is a kind of child item which is present inside the flex container. Flex container. So what is the use of this flex items discussion is? So if you are going to apply some kind of properties with the help of flex container properties, those properties are applicable to all the items, all the child items, all the flex items it is going to apply. But I don't want like that. I want to change the behavior of change the behavior of individual items. Change the behavior of individual child items. Then I can go for seeing the flex item properties. Flex item properties. Yeah. Flex item properties. Yeah. Fine. So first, let have one property called order property, which is meant for to define or to specify the order of flex items. The order of flex items. So by default, the order of all elements is 0. By default, the order of all elements is 0. So if I am having, if an element having, if a child element having the order is very high, that it is going to place at the end of the container. That it is going to place at the end of the container. Whichever the item having the least order, we can say simply 0. It is going to place at the first position. Yeah. If you want, you can observe this with the, so this is the what we have seen in the previous class, right? Fine. So what I will do is I don't want to this space around property, so it look like this. Yeah, fine. Now with the help of this order property, I can able to move this flex item 1 to the last position, or flex item 6 to the first position, or whatever the way you can want, you can get. For example, I would like to get, mm, for example, this flex item 2. I am going to give the order as 1. Observe, order as 1. Now you can observe what is the meaning of this one. So as I have given the order as 1, all the remaining orders as 0, it is going to place at the last position. The flex item is going to place at the last position. Observe, I am going to refresh. Yeah, because the order of this item is higher than all the remaining items. That's why it is placed at the last position. Yeah. For example, I would like to place the flex item 4 at the last position. Then what I can do? I need to give more than the flex item 2. For example, uh, I am going to for the flex item 2, and I am going to make the order as 2, for example. Observe, yeah. flex item 4 will comes at the last cell. So I hope you understood, right? So to change the specific order of a flex item, then I can go for a property called order property. Similarly, we have one more property, flex grow property, flex shrink property, and flex basis property is also there. This property is also there. So what are these properties are meant for means, like for example, I hope you know, right? You can observe here. You can observe whenever I, even though I refresh this one, what happened this after the flex item 4, whatever this content, the content is available or not, meaning that free space is available or not. Yes, means that I can able to place n number of items. I can able to place n number of items, at most sufficient number of items. Yeah, fine. I don't want to provide this space here, this space here. Instead of that, I would like to make, I would like to make distribute these items to this uh, unallocated space also. At that time, what I can do is I can increase or I can grow an element size. I can grow an element size, that we can do with the help of flex grow property. Meaning that uh, if we are taking a flex item, if we are taking a flex item, we need to define how a flex item should grow, how a flex item should grow when or with respect to rest of the remaining items. With respect to remaining items. Yeah. Meaning that to cover the remaining area of this area, to cover the remaining area of this flex box, what I need to do, I need to increase the space of some element. I need to increase the space of some element. At the time, what I can do is I can go for flex grow. Flex grow. So, uh, for example, for division 2 only, I am taking the flex grow as 1. Flex grow as 1. I am saving. You can observe if I am refreshing, it is going to occupy the remaining space. What are the remaining space is there, that is coming to occupy to the flex item 2. Flex item 2. Yeah. For example, I am going for giving that same thing to the uh, flex grow as 1, for item 6. I'm sorry. Observe, the rest of the space is going to share by now flex item 2 and flex item 6. Observe. Now these two are having the same thing. The same thing. Because whatever the amount of space is available, free space, that free space is going to occupied by this flex item 2 and flex item 6, because I have given the flex grow property for both uh, flex item 2 as well as for flex item 6 as given as equal parts. For example, let me take for flex item 6 also I will define height so that you won't get confused. Observe. Now both are having the equal. Now what I will do is, instead of define the flex grow as equal for both items, I am going to define 3. Going to flex grow as 3. Now you can observe the difference. I am going to refresh. What happened, guys? Whatever the amount of free space that is there in the initial time, that amount is going to take as 3 parts. As 3 parts, because it is growing 3 times. It is going 3 times compared to flex item 2. If flex item 2 is growing 1 time, flex item 3 is going, flex item 6 is going for 3 times growth. That is why it is going to do act like that. Yeah, fine. Here now you can observe. Even though I am minimizing, flex item 6 is having the more space than flex item 2. Now when both are having constraint, see, observe. Now flex item 2 is increasing. Observe. When both are in the same line, you can observe the difference. Now flex item 6 is more than flex item 2. Now flex item 2 got more size than flex item 6, because flex item 2 is occupying the all available space in this flex line. Yeah. So that is why it is taken. When both are in same line, flex item 6 having more growing than flex item 2. That is what you have to observe. Yes. See, observe. Like this, we will use the flex grow property. Next thing, flex shrink. So this flex shrink property is also applicable for flex item. So we are going to define shrinking of an item relative to all the rest of items, related to all the rest of items, just opposite to flex grom, meaning that uh, how much amount of thing it need to shrink compared to all the remaining items, then we'll go for flex shrink property. Yes. You can go up here somewhere. I will take for both again, for here also, flex shrink as 3, flex shrink as 3, or else I will go with this one. You need to make difference. Shrink as 3. Uh, this also flex shrink as 1. This flex shrink as 1, and now whose width is 200 pixel. So we need to take the flex item 4 and flex item 5 comparison. Flex item 4 is here, flex item 5 is here. I would like to get this to the last question. Flex item 5. What I can do for flex item 5, I can define some order which is more than the existing item. For example, I am giving that as 6. Yes. Now you can observe, guys, as I am trying to shrink, yes, trying to shrink, yeah. Which one is shrinking fast? See, observe. Yeah, I hope. So I need to remove the wrap property so that you can understand it clearly. I have removed the flex wrap property. Yes. Now observe, guys. Flex item 5 is smaller than flex item 4 because you can observe here. Observe here. Flex item 5 shrink is 3 times faster than flex item 4. That is why flex item 5 is decreasing faster than flex item 4. Observe. Now both are equal, but when we are trying to shrinking the flex item 5 is you can observe clearly here. Yeah. That is the advantage of flex shrinking. And next kind of property, flex basis, which is meant for to define size of an element related to main axis. So many people are getting confusing here. As you are, some people are saying that is like width, they are saying, but it is not correct, ma. We are going to define the size of element with respect to main axis. That's it. So that is the meaning of flex basis. Yeah. For example, you can observe here. I will take the clear example so that we will have clear idea that. Let me take a simple example, the same thing. So for flex item 5, I am going to define the width as 200 pixel. Now I am going to define the flex basis. The flex basis as 100 pixel. The flex basis as 100 pixel. 100 pixel. Now you can observe, you can visualize some difference here. Flex item size you can observe here. What happened? It is shrinking. Shrinking means its width is 100 pixel. Its width is 100 pixel. Why? We have defined the flex basis as 100 pixel. If I define the flex basis as 400 pixel, its size will be increased. That is why so many people are thinking that it look like a width. But the thing is, reality, it is not width. It is not width. It is related to define the size of element with respect to main axis. What is main axis here? By default, we didn't define any main axis. Sorry, by default, we didn't define the flex direction. That is why we're going to take flex direction as rho. Flex direction as rho. So with respect to the main axis, it is going to define the size. What is the size of this item now? Auto. What does it mean? It means that it is going to define this size. Meaning that by default, whatever the size we have defined, that size is going to consider. That size is going to consider. If I had taken something like 500 pixel, as I have explained right now, it is going to define its size with respect to main axis. I hope you know the meaning of rho, right? So main axis is from top left corner to right side, and cross axis from top left corner to bottom side. So main axis side I am going to define its width. Fine. So if you would like to observe the clear difference, what I will do is I would like to define the the flex direction as column, as column, as column. Once I made it as a column, once I made it as a column, you can observe, the main axis is at what side? Y axis. So now the element height will change. Now the element height will change. You can observe, I am going to refresh. Fine. So why it doesn't change? Because it is a kind of a flex container. Now you can observe, flex direction as a column I have taken. I am going to take difference. I am going to take it. Yeah. So as it is not sufficient, I am taking the flex. I am removing the flex string property because I need to show it. Yes. Now you can observe. Yes. Actually, it is minimized. Instead of that, I'll go for the flex 400 pixel. So now you can observe, flex item 5 is occupying what height is 400 pixel. This is what, because the main axis is from top left corner to bottom side. That is why we are getting the thing is like this. For example, I am defining it as 50 pixel. 50 pixel. Observe, now it is going to take only 50 pixel upside because it is going to define with respect to main axis. So what I can conclude here is, flex basis means, which is simply defining size of an element related to main axis. So it doesn't define it as a width, right? Now it defines it as a height. But the thing is, we need to define it as size of element is related to the main axis. Yeah. Fine. So instead of going for these three properties separately, I can able to combine the 2, 3, 4 properties with the help of a single property called flex property. Yeah. Fine. So first one is flex grow, second one is flex string, third one is flex basis. For example, I am taking it as 2, it has 1, and this has R2. What does it mean? Flex growing property is 2 times of the actual, 2 times of the available space. Sorry, 2 times of 2 times of the actual space which is shared by all the items. Flex shrinking is 1 time. Flex basis is R2, meaning that it's going to take the parent element. Yeah. Same thing I can write like this. You can observe here, instead of defining all this flex basis, all this, I can go for the property called flex property, where flex grow is I am defining it as 4, and flex shrinking is 3, and flex basis is, I can go for once again 50 pixel. You won't observe any difference because I made it as some difference is there, but you can't observe it perfectly. So what I did is I'm going to make it comment. One minute. Yeah. Flex direction I'm going to comment. Now you can observe difference. Yes. Now flex item grow is how much? Flex item grow is 4 times, and whenever I am trying to shrink, it is going to shrink faster than all the remaining, because its size is I have defined a larger than 3, and whose size is 50 pixel. Like this we can use this shorthand property. Fine. Next kind of property, align self. Last property, this one, align self property, which is meant for to define flowing of items or arranging of items related to the cross axis, related to the cross axis. So here you can define the flex start, flex end, center. Like this we can define all the things, meaning that, so if you want to define, so with respect to flex container property, with respect to flex container property, I can able to arrange these items, I can able to arrange these items. But if I would like to define a specifically for a single item, then I can go for align self property. Align self property, yeah, fine. So for example, for this item 5 only, I would like to define the align self property. Flex start, you can observe this will come to the top. Yes, fine. Now I would like to go for flex item 1 to the top. What I can do, I can go for this one, writing at the first. Yes. I would like to go for the flex item 2 to the bottom side. Flex item, yeah, 6 to the bottom side. Flex, yeah. Observe, yeah. Fine. Like this, you can able to arrange the individual items with the help of align self property. Align self property, yeah. So these are the property. These are some of the properties which are defined for flex items. Flex items, yeah, fine. So the final thing is, with respect to this flex box, we have various kind of advantages. That is what we have seen already. Those things are like, we don't have any kind of usage of floats properties, and this is more responsive, this is more responsive and also mobile friendly. So responsive means it is mobile friendly only, right? Yeah. Fine. So positioning the child elements is very easy with help of align cell property, align content property, yeah, fine. So uh, positioning the positioning the child items, positioning the child items is much easier, much easier. And also we can able to arrange the order of elements, which we can do with help of, so whatever the way you want, you can get those order. So that is, these are some of the advantages of this flex box. And if you observe various kind of real-time examples, so we'll take that in the next videos. Yeah, we can able to develop a navigation bar. So we will take a horizontal navigation bar, and if the screen size is small, we can able to convert into vertical navigation bar. We can able to align the items centering easily, centering the items easily, yeah, fine. We can able to design the required grid layouts, and like we can call it as a holy grid layout. We can call it as a holy grid layout, meaning that, so we can able to design the structure like this. First is the header part, navigation part, uh, this is main part, and this is the footer part, this is the right side navigation part. This kind we call it as holy grid layout. So defining this thing with the help of divisions is somewhat easy. That is what we have seen already, yeah. If you go for, I think, home.html somewhere, you can observe, yeah, fine. This is also a kind of holy grid layout. So header, navigation bar, side navigation, content. This is also kind of navigation. But thing is, we have used here floating property. Here floating property. Without that floating property, also we can design this holy grid layout. Yeah. And we can able to design a more responsive images. More responsive images. Like this, we'll have various kind of lot of real-time examples. So those things we'll see at least one real-time example in the next class. So I hope you understood this concept clearly. Thank you.